briefly description of how to use the Quickdraw weaving program's grid view to do profile drafting. Let me say, for example, we wanted to do something like create a napkin that had a structural pattern in the middle of it. So I've taken a fairly large block. So I'm just say I want to profile. And then what I want to do is an outer margin. So say I want to do that tabby, and I'm going to use some kind of a pattern structure and then back tabby in the middle, just for sake of discussion. The nice thing about doing this on the grid is I don't have to worry about how I created that. So once I have that set up, it's a profile draft. If I ask for the threading, I can select any profile I want. And this top corner shows me the reference pattern. So that would show me, if I look at the mouse over in the top right-hand corner as I move, it would tell me how many shafts it requires, what the pattern name is, shaft treadles, and so forth. So for example, if I ask that, it will actually do that block substitution and drop the result back onto the main editor grid. If I want to try a different block substitution, I can go back to the grid. So I want to do that in a large Huck lice pattern. So I can physically do that block substitution from the grid, and it's fairly quickly, it's a fairly fast way to define a profile and then do standard library block substitutions. Now the other thing I can also do within the grid, the library functions here would allow me to take that same profile and cycle through the various block substitution choices, and you'll notice it's actually showing me up on the scroll line what those are. So I can cycle through those and decide whether or not I want tabby. So the library function is a convenient way to be able to see within the grid what's going on, as well as the explore function. I'll cover that in more detail in other patterns. I've got a lot of ability to play with patterns and look at how those standard libraries would deal with. The other thing I could also do, if I wanted to, is just take that profile, and if I export that back as a draft, now I'm back with a profile draft on the main editor to work with. So that gives me a lot of flexibility on how I can do profile drafting to create thread drafts on the Quickdraw grid.